on TAAN TV.
It's just a situation of how I'm feeling for you. Ooh, girl, you're blowing my mind. Can't find the words to tell you just what I'm feeling for.
Well, it's starting to get pretty regular here, y'all. My theme music be showing up. We have to. When my theme music come on, we got to perform. It's showtime. When Mr. Jaron J. Lamont, come on, blowing minds. Now it's time for TAAN at night to stimulate some minds. We sure did last night. And so y'all better buckle up for round 2 tonight, y'all.
Put the seatbelt on.
Lord, they recruited to set it off crew.
And
deep in the Rolodex.
Lamb.
It was your old school Rolodex, Terry. Yeah. Well, we might as well get this bad fella started tonight. I want to welcome everybody to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And you're tuned in to In the Room. And tonight's episode, we're doing TAAN at night, and we're doing a continuation of the conversation that we had last evening in reference to a famous comedian, Mr. Bill Cosby. And it got very spirited last night, a lot of information, but what really also transpired during this conversation is our Facebook feed. And I want to welcome everybody that's going to start coming on from Facebook in the chat room. And this is how this show came up. We had some chatters last night, and that was making some comments. So we decided to come back on tonight and continue the conversation. It was male heavy last night, so we decided to give the ladies opportunity to speak on Mr. Bill and the whole situation. So, and like I said, man, we're just here to relax and have a good time. And hey, we're gonna go where it goes. And but it was really good last night. So, like I said, I want to welcome everyone, and I want to make sure everyone is still being safe. The COVID is not gone, y'all. That D variant is still floating around. So, if you're vaccinated, you're kind of protected. Because I say kinda, because it's real out here. One of our cast members on our sports talk contracted COVID, and he didn't had the shot.
Yeah.
So we right now, we're sending up prayers for JW, man, and right now he's doing good. So
that's amazing.
And like I said, and hopefully we're gonna have him come on and give it a testimony from the horse's mouth, from the 2 dogs' mouth about this COVID situation, y'all. So we just want, and here at TAAN, we just want to give out the information and tell you guys it's it ain't no joke. And now you're gonna have it when the dude had the vaccine and he's still, and the ones that and I'm being told that the ones that are unvaccinated are really the ones that really having a hard time in these hospitals now, so we'll see, man. Let's keep praying, and man, we keep praying that everyone, makes the right decision so we can try to get rid of this bad fella. So, and in doing that, I know y'all anxious to see who we got on the panel, but first I want to, introduce our regular panel that started out the TAAN at night talk all the way from California. Yay, my best friend from high school. Go Tigers. Man,
Here we go.
Retired Navy, represented the military, put his word for the service. He put, for our country. Matter of fact, he was a real soldier, submariner. He's an underwater fighting man, brother. You know, we barely swim on top of the water. Now let's know, let's known be under the water, man, and protect the country here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's my best friend, Mr. Terry Bradford. And now,
hi everyone, how y'all doing?
Let me get this one right, Terry. Let me get this intro right.
You better.
Feisty, the fierce, the fabulous, funkadelic, our creator of TAAN TV, Miss Laura Thompson, is in the house. What's up, Laura? She's
hello. How's everybody doing? Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
And I forgot that other F because I didn't see it. F, that phenomenal. Yeah, I was trying to find that F. I said, Laura, you said Vance. I know.
Yeah.
But she is phenomenal, and she's doing a great job here at TAAN TV.
Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
There you go.
Wherever you're viewing from. Lights, camera, action. We got some super fabulous, phenomenal guests that have joined us tonight to have a critical conversation. And we'll tell you what the conversation is going to be about in a few minutes. But I don't know how y'all are viewing them, but to my left at the top, Spicee Gray. How you doing, Spicee? She's an author. She has a podcast and she has a CD out. So she's a phenomenal woman. She's a poet and she's a Scorpion, just like me. So,
Lord,
what can I say? And then right above Vance Bradford, I don't know if y'all are viewing it like that, but my baby sister, Juanita Turner, she's out of Jacksonville, Florida. We woke her up. It's 1-something there. So she's up a little late, but that's okay because she's got something to say. I had an opportunity to talk to all of these ladies about the topic that we're going to talk about today and got some feedback from them. So Vance made me get all of them together to talk about this topic. And so, and last but not least, my fearless, feisty CEO of the Texas Kidney Foundation is Miss Tiffany Jones-Smith. How you doing, Tiffany? And so Tiffany's got a really, really interesting perspective that she's going to bring to the table tonight. So, and I think Vance and Terry, I think y'all gonna like it. I think you're gonna like her perspective.
Sure I am. If not, I saw those eyes. You're gonna better act like you like it.
So,
that's why I took my glasses off. I don't want to see them no more.
So we're all gathered here this evening to have a great conversation. You're gonna tell them what the conversation is gonna be about, Vance?
Oh, am I? Okay. Well, like I said earlier, that this was a continuation from our conversation we had last night. And the topic was about Mr. Bill Cosby and what do we think? And so it was, like I said, Laura was the lone lady queen of the set. And so it was real male opinionated. And so tonight we want to give our queens the opportunity to see and say. They give their opinion and what they want to talk about with Bill Cosby and his situation on his situation when being released on a technicality, and then all about it kind of got into whether Bill was raping and the rape part of it and it just got kind of wild, man. So Laura, I'm gonna pass it back on to you. So like Spicee, I know she was listening last night,
Oh
and
no, Spicey's about to jump out of her game chair over there.
and Terry and I, we're gonna sit back and interject when we
And,
can. You know,
yeah, let you ladies talk.
yeah. Let's hear from your side of it. You know, and Laura, you can really give some background on what was going on, because.
Well, first of all, we didn't really come on to talk about Bill Cosby.
Correct.
We had a whole different itinerary or agenda planned, or a show planned. And so one of Vance's guests said, he smiled and said he had a question to ask me. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, oh, that's an easy question. You'll be able to answer it. And so I said, okay, because I like to blindside people too, but he really blindsided me. And so he asked me about what I thought about Cosby being released, so I thought that was a fair and an easy question to answer, but it turned into a moving target kind of question. And so Spicee was on there. And so some things were said, I won't say from a male perspective, but from a couple of male perspectives that were a little touchy. And so I am going to do a roundtable question. And first of all, I'm gonna go to Spicee. And Spicee, I wanted you to answer, what do you think about Bill Cosby being released from prison?
I have mixed emotions about it because, for one, as I expressed in the comment area last night, I was one of those victims that were raped. I was raped at 17 and at 32. So it did kind of put me in a certain space. When it come down to Bill Cosby, I heard that he was released because, the case was overturned based on information that was supposed to be submitted. But I never heard the part was his conviction on the rape part from the women that made the allegations. And that's what had me bothered. Honestly speaking, I understood what Terry was saying. The pattern he was going, I understand him. I felt kind of sorry for him, really, sitting back here. And Van, he just stayed out of it. So his head just went back. So he's like, I'm standing safety zone. But when it comes down to it, unless you actually, everybody reacts different when they've been put in that situation. You can't say this person will do this. You can't say this person will react to this. And when I said last night that I would not go into a scenery where I know there's going to be drugs or heavy alcohol, that's just the wall that I put up on that area, because I had been raped before. So when I said I would not put myself in that position, that means even, at 17, before I had my first child at 19, the fact that friends were going out to hotel parties, they was going to house parties. I didn't go because I was afraid of being put in that position again, of that happening to me. So when I said I would not put myself in a position, that's why I said that. I'm more protective of myself now. I'm more guarded, to where even coming up in a certain space, like if a guy walk up to my car, immediately I'm already got the defense mode up.
Okay, so thank you for that, madam. So Juanita, when you heard that Bill Cosby was released, I know you texted me and told me, because she's the breaking news person in the family. So what did you think? What were your first thoughts? And did you think that he should have been released?
I have mixed feelings as well. However, I like Bill Cosby. And I feel that, was he treated fairly? No. Have I ever been raped? No. But I feel that when you put yourself in a situation, things happen, as she just mentioned. And I was always taught that you never leave your drink sitting when you go out, and anything after 2 o'clock, nothing but legs open.
Mm.
So if you put yourself in that situation, no one in the United States can make me drink something that I don't want. If you offer me something and I accept it, then that's on me. But when you put something in my drink and I don't know that you put it there, and you sexually assault me, that's right. But I don't think, because Bill Cosby was in the arena that he was in, which is show business, he did what he did. He had fun. If you allow me to do it, I'm going to do it. But I don't think that it's a fair judgment to say that he raped anyone. I think they were, I hate to say it, but a lot of them were willing because they wanted to be in the arena that he was in. And so they did do what he said or asked them to do. And, you know, when you have a child, and Bill Cosby was someone's child, you protect. And no, he's not my child, but I feel that what he did was not right, but he did it and he has suffered the consequences. I don't think that they fairly did him right. And now he's out, and I'm happy.
So Miss Tiffany.
Well, I think I have a viewpoint that's probably different from both ladies, in that I see this as two different things. It's not a question as to whether or not he raped someone. It's a question of, was that evidence supposed to be used? Because he was told, tell us this information, we will not use it against you. So it was illegally obtained. Now, did he do this? That's a different question. And as we discussed last night, we're talking about how is rape being defined? How is it being defined? Because this is in 1980. Here's my knowledge of this situation. So I'm going to tell you a little story. When I went to boarding school in Italy. And so when I got to boarding school, one of the things that we had was a TV room, and the Cosby Show was something that was shown on TV there. And I was like, watch the Cosby Show, and they had I want to say, I don't remember which one of the TV stations was on, but there were only 3 TV stations: Rai Uno, Rai Due, and this other one. I don't remember what the other one was called, but it was on one of those stations. I watched it, and was commenting that I really love Bill Cosby, and several of the girls started laughing, and they were like, "You don't ever want to be alone in the room with Bill Cosby." And I was like, who are you? What are you talking about? And they start telling me that he's the guy that's known for having a pocket full of whatever, you know, and he would bring the drugs and stuff like that to parties. And I thought, who, how do you even know this? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't realize who was at the school and stuff, and that sort of thing. So I began to, but that was the first time I heard that he was the guy that brought a lot of drugs to the party. Well, you may be the guy that brings drugs to a party, and certain drugs, if I go to a party and I take ecstasy, you know, I'm going to be friends with everybody at the party. You know, because that particular drug elicits a certain behavior. So, you know, how are we defining this? Because in today's standard, by today's standard, we know, like with the Harvey Weinstein case, women who went to the hotel room with Harvey Weinstein, that was not it wasn't a secret that if you walked into a room with Harvey Weinstein and you wanted a part, you were going to have to do certain things to get that part. You know, that, I mean, it was widely known that that's what would happen if you walked in with that particular individual. And we define that today as rape.
Yes.
Right? We define that as rape because he was using his power to get these women to do what he wanted, right? But in 1980, with Bill Cosby in a pocket full of whatever, Quaaludes, you know, whatever he had, was he raping every single person? He may have been. I don't know. But I know this, that evidence, we shouldn't actually know about any of these rapes because that evidence was not ever supposed to make it to our ears. He was lied to and then humiliated and exposed when he wasn't supposed to be. Was his behavior right? You know, no, it is never right to rape a woman.
That's
Never.
right. Or a man.
Or a man. Anybody.
Exactly.
Never right to
Exactly.
rape anybody. You know, but the question here is the reason why he is free is because that was illegally obtained and put out there.
That is true.
He was illegally convicted.
You muted.
So do y'all think that the women put themselves in that position, or do you think that they should have visited Bill Cosby when they were invited?
Well, listening to Tiffany and what she's saying, that the one person knew about, he was the person that brought the drugs, it makes you wonder. Because like I said before, if I know that this person got these drugs and this is what this party gonna be about, I'm not gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does make you wonder, because that's the first time I heard that. And my thing is, if that one person told her that, it's no telling how many people know and how many people at the party knew. And my thing is, if you knew this is the guy with the drugs and this is where the party gonna be at, why would you go there not knowing that if you take this certain drug, which me, I look up every drug. I want to know side effects and everything. If you knew that these drugs are going to be there and the effects from them, why would you take it? Why would you even if he's slipping a drink, why would you even go there or accept a drink?
Can I say something, Ms. Laura?
Yes.
Okay. I think all you ladies are 100% correct. For one thing, I'm not going to argue the legal system. I'm not an attorney, but if his conviction was overturned, then I think he still probably has to register as a sex offender. I think I read some of that, but I don't think he's legally a rapist. And what I'm saying by that is by no means disrespectful to the ladies that it happened to. I just truly believe that in the Me Too movement is a great opportunity for women to come forth and right a big wrong. But I think the first lady in the Bill Cosby case could have spared the rest of the ladies if she would just spoke up. I know last night Mark told me that a lot of women have a hard time coming through, so I did some research and I had a couple friends, and one of them wasn't my close friend, but we were in the Navy, and his roommate was a corpsman. And every night, the corpsman would put chloroform over his face and have sex with him. And he would wake up sore, and he didn't understand why. And he finally went to the doctor. The doctor asked him, was he homosexual? He said no. So they put cameras in his room, and they found his roommate was raping him. I tried to read to Mark last night the definition of rape. It's physical, and it's or you can use it as a weapon, like I'm going to hurt you or someone else. That was the definition of the 80s. In the 80s, everybody was doing drugs. I'm not going to condone it. Me and Vance, and you ladies are college educated also. So we were in fraternities, and you have parties, and you know what party not to drink, i.e. not to leave your drink alone. That stuff would happen. And if we did that at that level, you can imagine that the next level was really, 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 exaggerate. So you look at people like those ladies went, as I think Juanita said earlier, Ms. Turner, she said that they went and they knew what Bill was wanting. But I think the most important thing is what they wanted from Bill. It might not have been sex, but it might have been something. And unfortunately, men in power think that they can take what they want. Only thing that I really have to say about the whole thing is that we had a president that used to grab women by the you know what. And he said he just take them and they showed tapes of it. And, everybody laughed and giggled about it. Ha, 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 ha. But when it came to Bill, they wanted to crucify him. Now, I'm not saying that what he did was right. It was wrong. If he didn't notify those women, which he said he did, that he was giving them drugs, then they shouldn't have. Then that was rape. But if I tell you, hey, I'm going to give you a drink, and girl, I put a couple of Quaaludes in it, then you kind of know that I'm giving you a suggestive drug that I can make suggestions and take advantage of you. And if you might have to say no, but you might take that sip. And that first sip is saying yes. In the Navy, I use that. And me and Vance are military brats. Also, our dad was in the Career Army. No matter how great the conversation is going or how much the heavy petting is going, when it comes to the act of intercourse, if you're about to have intercourse and that woman says no, and you continue, that is rape. Mm-hmm. So if these women were drugged to give consent or they were relaxed, I understand that they wake up in the morning. My opinion is that women wake up sometimes in the morning, you ladies can correct me, and say, I shouldn't have done it. And then when they realize that they shouldn't have done it, they feel bad about it and they blame the man. I've been on the other side of that, and I just not accused of rape. Let's get that straight. But I've been on the side of women saying you took advantage of me, at fraternity parties, or when me and Vance used to, not just messing with Vance, he didn't do that. But really, seriously, I think that Bill got released and he did his time. He did almost 3 of the 10 years, and his sentence were 3 to 10. So I don't know why everybody's making a big deal. Last night was a fiasco for me. I feel like I was on one of those sports talks where everybody was screaming at each other and cussing and fussing, and nobody was listening. I agree with both of the other guys on there about that the law found him guilty. If they overturn or whatever, then if they overturn it, he's not guilty by technicality. But the fact of the matter is the man did almost 3 years. So I think Bill should have got out, kept his mouth closed, and not been out on TV waving, throwing up the peace sign, which they was the victory sign. I don't know, a peace or victory. But that's my opinion on that. And you ladies can tell me if I'm wrong or right on that. I'm listening.
Don't everybody speak at once.
I was trying to get somebody else an opportunity to speak. But what he was saying, I understand what he's saying. I do agree with him, because at the same time, the law made their decision, and that's final. That's what it is. I'm not for sure if he is a registered offender.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so at the same time, Terry, would you say that they still not taking the full responsibility away from him from what had happened? Because they did do that. They made him a registered offender, even though he was overturned on the stuff that was not supposed to be put in.
I agree with you. If they had never entered that information there and he was found guilty, I believe he's still being in jail right, or in penitentiary right now, serving his time. Technicality is a technicality, and he took full advantage of it. That's why I said he should have just got out, been quiet, and disappeared. But his legal team did a great job for him, and a little bit injustice for the ladies. I think he still, even if he believes in his mind he did nothing wrong, he still should apologize to those ladies.
Exactly. Yes,
That's
I
what
agree with
believe.
that.
That's what
I totally agree with that, because at the end of the day, you know, because I know a lot of backlash was going at the lady as well through the media, like, why did they wait so long? Or, you know, but you got to understand, mine happened at 17. I didn't speak about it until my late 40s because, you know, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I was, you know, in fear. My mother didn't find out till I was 42, and that's because the only person that did know was the person that picked me up was my cousin. So in the argument, she let it out. But as in me being able to openly discuss it and talk about it, it took me longer because people don't understand how that it hinders you mentally, emotionally, and it's like you don't see the world the way you did before the incident.
I agree.
So did you have something, Tiffany?
I was just going to say, people are drawn to power. You know, they're drawn to power, and they will do things for a powerful person that they wouldn't do for a regular person. And that, you know, uh, this has so much gray. This particular subject has so much gray because when I look at it, do I believe he raped some people? Yes, I do believe he did. I do believe he did. But I also know he was told, if you tell us the truth. See, Terry, if he would have shut his mouth at that point and said, "Nah, I'm not. You know what? I'm bending iron in, and I'm not telling you anything." Uh, Instead, he told the truth and believed that they were not gonna use that against him.
Entrapment. Yep.
That, which means that none of what we know
Is legal.
should have put him in prison. It doesn't mean that he didn't do it. It means that they signed paperwork saying if you don't if you tell us what you know, we're not gonna convict you with this.
So let me
Now,
ask you
that's two
this.
separate arguments. Did
Mm.
he do this? And should he have been prosecuted for? That's two separate arguments.
Yeah, but the question also would be, because what my mind is going
Yeah.
towards now is that being that he's a registered offender, if they never would have entered that, would he still be convicted for that there? Because he's still being punished because he's been labeled as a registered offender.
Yep.
But
That's
because of the
let me-
technicality,
They
so
might
let me-
get that removed. They might get that removed. I don't know, but as of today's date right now, he's still, from what it said on the internet, he's still registered. So then again,
so
my
let me-
internet's old, so.
So let me ask y'all this. So Tiffany, you said that women are drawn to power.
Well, people
And
are drawn
so,
to power, you know.
yeah, people,
Women, men,
but
people are drawn
in this particular case,
Mhm.
these women were drawn to power. You know, Juanita said that basically they had a choice. They, you know, they went there, they were drawn to power, they went there. They knew that, you know, he was known for for having drugs. And they went there anyway.
But it still doesn't give you the right to
No,
take
it,
advantage of it.
Exactly.
no, but what my question was going to be, do you believe that it's rape if, you know, they accept they say, okay, I do want the Quaalude, I do want it. I do want to be with you, or I will come and visit you. Do you think that that's still rape, or
But
do you
you
think
always have
sometimes
the
we
right
put
to say
ourselves in
no.
those positions?
You always have the right to say no. You can
Yes.
get all the way up to whatever you want to, want to
Mhm.
get up to. You have the
No
right
is
to
no.
say no. No is
Right.
no.
No, yeah, no means no. I agree. But let's use Constant as an example. He repeatedly, first of all, disrespected this man's house. She comes to this man's house. Disrespect the home. Okay, then if you didn't like his advance, don't ever go back. She went back. He invites her hotel room
That's a dead
multiple
giveaway.
times. I'm sorry?
That's a dead giveaway.
Exactly.
Right. And constantly, not just once, I'm talking about multiple times. And then I think it was in 13, she accused him. She let her mom listen to Bill Cosby talk over the telephone. Did get, Bill Cosby did pay her $3.36 million. Okay. And then she decides she wants to come public, 5-6 years later. I understand, that it's hard. I've never been raped, so I can't really say how a woman feels when someone takes advantage of them like that. Have I ever been in a situation where I've been in the room with movie stars, I've been in the room with comedians, I've been in the room with, political figures, and I have been made advances to, and I chose the answer no.
Exactly.
Well, everybody is not like that, and I understand. But once again, if Bill Cosby would not have talked, period, they really had no evidence. They had nothing. So that's why they forced him to talk. I don't know, as smart as Bill is, I don't know why he talked, but he did. And so that's how he got himself into this situation. And he's going to have to live with it for the rest of his life. Whether he raped or didn't rape, I know he's not a perfect man. No man is perfect. But he shouldn't have to suffer for something that they messed up on.
You
And
know,
that's the way.
what you just said about the 3.3 million, and let me just interject
Okay.
and throw this out there. Someone, he paid her 3.3 million. That does not necessarily have to have been paid because he raped her. He could have paid her $3.3 million. I mean, I don't know what he said, but most people aren't going to write, I'm going to pay you $3.3 million because I raped you.
Right.
People will pay you $3.3 million because they have a certain image and something coming out that you
I
slept
agree.
with this woman
Exactly.
on your wife, and your
Mhm.
fact when your image is wholesome,
Yeah.
Right.
then $3.3 million is worth saving a $100 million image.
Right.
So that doesn't necessarily tell anybody anything about whether or not he did, whether or not he committed that particular crime. All it says is that he had a relationship of some kind with this lady that
Mhm.
resulted in that he did not want exposed to the rest of the world.
That's
It
true.
says
That is
that. It doesn't say I'm paying you off for for
correct.
raping you.
Yeah, because you got to look at too, like she said, people are drawn to power, but also people in this class, they abuse their power.
That is true. That
They
is true.
use that because I was also in a situation where somebody that's well known and in a certain state, and he thought he could, because of who he was and he was used to getting his way. No, and no means no.
Yes, it does.
No means no. It doesn't matter how far along you get.
Mhm.
No means no when you decide I don't. Hey, I'm done with this, or this is further than I want to go. No means no.
I honestly, I think men that continue at that point believe that they're above the law
Mhm.
and that they have some type of persona that's not going to let them fall victim to the legal procedure. Uh, I don't know the reason why Bill paid her off, but I'm 100% sure that in that 3.3, 3.4, whatever it was, that he said, "Hey, you can't talk about it."
Yeah, it's supposed to go.
Mhm.
I mean,
Bill.
Bill, if he had an attorney smart enough to say, "Go ahead and tell them because they can't use it in court against you," he had that same attorney that was smart enough to say, "Hey, you can't talk about it." So uh, I don't know what that young lady's issue with Bill was. I had no idea. In the articles I read, it did say that she had visited him multiple times. That was a woman, hearing that information, that was a woman that's scorned because she didn't get what she was promised. But hey, if she only had $10 and she got 3 point whatever, I think she was well paid. And she should have kept her mouth shut because that was the agreement that she said. As far as the other ladies, I just wish that they would have came forward, especially the supermodel. Let's be for real. I mean, she's till this day at 62, very gorgeous. She had every avenue and the financial money to say something. Maybe not right then, maybe she was a young model, but as she got into the late 80s and 90s, she was on top. She could have said something then. Not wait till you're done, so I'm not condoning which I'm sorry, go ahead, Tiffany.
I was just gonna say, like, with people who've been raped, you don't you don't necessarily want to say something right away, and it's a frightening
Exactly.
thing to go through.
Exactly.
A person who has gone through that, it is not easy. It's very
Mm-mm.
traumatic, and it's life altering. And I can definitely understand someone not want to say anything until seeing other people say something. I see what you're saying, but that is so life changing to
Yeah, and
even
I can
Tiffany's
only
get up,
correct.
to even be able to get up out of bed after something like
Yeah.
that, and face people, and it's very shameful. There's a lot of shame involved with that. That you know, I don't fault. I understand how tough this is for those women to come out and say what happened, because nobody likes to be viewed with any level of weakness,
Mm.
especially in this world today. Any weakness that you have as a man or a woman,
Mhm.
uh, can be and will be exploited and
That
ridiculed.
is true.
I mean, you were dealing with it last night with people just coming at you for talking about a
brutally,
subject that they don't want to
brutally,
hear about, or that they have a
brutally.
specific opinion about.
Yes.
So imagine the shame associated with being raped and your own personal space being violated, and
Mhm.
you don't know who's got the same intention, and then this is somebody that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody loves them.
I
Yeah.
can
So
Cause,
only
there was no way that at that time a lady could have come out and said,
build this.
Bill Cosby raped me. Because he was
He
the
was
darling
at the height
of
of
America
his
at the time.
career.
yes.
Yeah.
He was
I
the
can only agree
darling.
on one thing. Uh, no names. I know at least 4 individuals, young ladies. They're mature now, but we were in an intimate relationship at the time, and they had been raped previously. And we spoke about it. Now, I'm not saying I'm some special guy. I don't got all these great ideas, but I understood. Especially being in college as a freshman, and you see how the girls just throw themselves at the football players or the basketball players or even fraternity men, and then turn around and say, I shouldn't have done it. So I know young women put themselves in harm's way all the time. But these four ladies talked to me about it in our relationship. And it made me angry. It made me very angry that somebody did something to Spice. I just met you tonight still makes me angry because men shouldn't do that. I mean, if that's your game, power and consent, get you a hooker.
Exactly.
Don't ruin somebody's life. And that's how
we gotta
I
live
feel.
with that for the rest of our life, because
Yes,
people don't understand.
you can't wash that away.
Yeah, because yes, I've learned how to deal with it, but I still deal with it. And that's why I was going to say also, and just on the same line with Tiffany, was that you got to also look at, that's part of the reason as well, but you got to look at this model, it's trauma. It's very traumatic. And when you talk about court, you don't want to relive that again. That's something that you don't want to bring back up. You don't want to think about, because some people put a barricade to where they just want to forget it. So that could be her reason as well. Like, I don't want to relive this.
This is
again.
somebody whose face is on TV all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, those shows are syndicated. They're everywhere. If somebody has been raped, you literally can be walking down the street years later, nothing's going on, and see somebody that looks like that individual.
Be upset.
And experience post-traumatic stress from it. And
Well, can I ask you ladies one question?
Can I?
I just throw some turbo into the game. I don't know if you know who Chauncey Billups is. He's a former NBA player turned coach. And this happened, I think Vance was in the early 2000s, late 99.
I think he was like 18, 19 years old.
Anyway. So Chelsea allegedly assaulted some woman. And now he's went through his whole NBA career. They had went to court. It was denied. Soon as he get ready to go to be a coach at Portland, it comes back out. Now, that doesn't say it didn't happen. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, why bring it out now when this guy is trying to be more advanced in his career if it's not just for financial gain? And that's what I have. That's the problem that I have with
destroy him.
So
if the Me Too program doesn't want money, if I'm in the Me Too program and I was raped and it took me 10 years, or however time it took me within that statute of limitation to have the nerve and the courage to come forward. I came forward. I presented my case, some physical evidence, some people who can, corroborate my story. And I go after this person. And yes, if he raped me, I agree he should do it. But if you have limited information, and then you go after a guy just because he wants money, just call him on the phone and say, hey, I mean, no disrespect to the young lady who got 3.4, 3.3, but that was hush money. And that's all it was. I mean, I don't think there's a dollar limit on you guys' body.
Correct.
I don't think any man can say, here's $1 million, shut up, I just raped you. I don't think it might ease the burden financially, but it's still mentally going to be in your mind. So all I want to ask you, lady, is why would that lady and some of the ladies in the Bills case come back years later to attack their attacker instead of doing it when they were ready? So that's my question. I'm not sure.
I think it gave, and then I'm going to segue into another question, but I think that when other people come forward, it gives people the courage to come forward if it happened. But
Especially with somebody like that, with somebody with
Mhm.
his sort of stature.
Because people are not going to believe you. Sometimes they might not even believe you've been with Bill Cosby or
Exactly.
you
And
know.
sometimes they want to
So,
twist it and blame you for even
mhm.
getting that position.
So, my question is, okay, he's a powerful man. He's a big time celebrity. And so, and he has some enemies. You know, he has some people that want to have his position. And so, Vance and I had an opportunity to interview a guy that was on TV. And he said that they would send women in to set him up. You know, the industry
Yes.
would send women in to set them up. And if you know if they went for it, then you know they would come back and accuse them of things. So, do you think that that could have possibly been the case with? Because there's a lot of women that accused him. So, do y'all think that some of those incidents that could have been the case? That they kind of sent people in to set him up?
I think some of them, but not all of them. I mean, it was too many women with the same story. I'm pretty sure Bill gave them Quaaludes. I wasn't there, but I probably took me some Quaaludes too at that time. I'm not trying to be funny, but I would have, because that was the drug of the time. I was like 17, whatever. But I think women knew what Bill was doing. And I go back to rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, the young lady in Denver, said he raped, but she had, what was it, 7 or 8 different types of semen in her panties. So Kobe paid her hush money. That's all he did. Just let it go. Whatever you need, let it go. And I think that's what happens to men of power. You know, they're even though they think they are that, but the truth of the matter is they're the prey. They're not the predator.
Yeah, 'cause
They're
if
the
they
prey.
weren't, some of them, if they didn't have that fame and fortune.
Nope. I mean, Bill's an okay looking guy. You take that 400 million from him, Bill's an ordinary dude.
Jamie Foxx said that, you know, when you become famous and wealthy, you have the mist. You know, all of a sudden you better look. You Jamie, the most handsomest man ever. You know,
like Wesley Snipes.
even if you weren't funny, you the funniest brother I ever met. You know,
You're like Wesley Snipes,
like
you
Bill
know,
Gates.
Yeah.
but I think something to remember is too, like we're talking with Spicee, and she has been through this. Spicee, you weren't going back and visiting your rapist over and over again.
No, I didn't even know him. Well, the first one I didn't even know. I didn't even know him.
You know, but if you didn't know who it was, most women who have been through the trauma of rape, you know, because we've again, I say that we've opened up what we see as being rape, and included the power dynamic, and opened the power dynamic into even wider, right? Because what rape has always been about power, about somebody taking power over another person, but the trauma of rape, the PTSD that goes along with rape. Most women who are being raped, that are not being raped by somebody that they know, you know, not by a family member, but, you know, but being raped by somebody, a stranger, or somebody that's a friend, a distant friend, or whatever, an acquaintance. It doesn't follow statistics that they're just going back to that person and visiting with that person repeatedly and seeing that person repeatedly.
And that's what had me kind of concerned when she kept going back where he was
when
at.
you get raped, you can't get out of bed. You can't. I mean, it's not something where you're like, oh well, let me just go run up on Bill again and see what's up. next weekend.
Yeah.
It's not.
No,
It's
Well,
not.
she
It's
could have
not
enjoyed
like.
it. She
no,
could have enjoyed it.
Like
no, you
it's
go into a
so.
withdrawal,
It's so.
period because
Yeah.
I didn't want to be around nobody. I didn't want nobody to touch me because even like for my dad to come hug me, I just didn't like it. You know, I didn't
Do
want
you
nobody
think
to touch
that
me.
everybody can tell that this is what has happened?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want anybody to be able to look at you and see. So
No.
you
Yeah.
would
And
never
then I
want them to
started
say
covering up. I started buttoning up all the way to my neck.
Yeah.
And, you know, my head was always down. You know, my mom and grandmother would always wonder, well, why she stays in her room all the time? I stay in my room, lock the door. I would just stay in there. It took me years
Mhm.
to, you know, not so much be the loner because even going to school, I would not sit with nobody. I didn't want nobody close to me. You know, I just wanted to be to myself. I didn't feel safe at all around nobody. But I couldn't tell my mother because my thing was is that my mother was the type, you know, and I love her to death, you know, but it was, I couldn't talk to her because, you know, she would scream or she would make you feel like that it was your fault. You know, she didn't do it intentionally, you know, but my thing was that I didn't feel like I had nobody to go to. You know, when this happened to me, my oldest cousin was the only one that I could call. And the only thing was is that she promised not to tell anything. Now this was at 17. You know, she did take me to get checked out, you know, which, you know, unfortunately, you know, at that time, the doctor told me I wouldn't be able to have kids. You know, this was it for me because it was that bad. You know, I thank God I had 4 children. I just couldn't have them naturally. You know, that's why I say it's a reminder because it did leave scars, what he did to me. And so you don't never forget, you know, I am a hugger now, but I'm still cautious. I still have the flashbacks. You know, being in my home, you know, I always want the doors locked. You know, I get on the kids, lock the door, lock the door. Anybody can come in here. You know, I lock my room door. I close my bathroom door. I close my closet door. Those are the certain signs. Because right after it happened, I was almost scrubbing my skin off because I was just, and it's like I couldn't get him off of me. Just kept scrubbing.
Wow.
So, you know, a lot of people, you know, don't understand unless they've been through it, you know, but some women are able to go on. Some women put that block up and some women never get over it to where some have committed suicide.
So you are tuned into TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And we're here in the room with Vance Bradford, host of TAAN at Night. We're here with Terry Rayford. He's part of the TAAN at Night crew. And our invited guest, Juanita Turner, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida, Tiffany Jones-Smith, CEO of Texas Kidney Foundation, and Miss Spicee Gray of the Unspoken Heart. And so we're here talking about giving opinions and testimonies about the thing that happened to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was released. He was accused of rape. He served 2.5 years and was released on a technicality. And we're just talking about different scenarios of the drug that he used on women, and if he actually raped women, and we're talking about it. Some are talking about experiences they had of being raped. So this topic is very, very controversial. I know somebody left a comment last night that said it was a trigger conversation because it triggered so many different opinions and perspectives and emotions when we had the discussion. So rape is real.
Well, hey, Laura,
Yes.
it's funny that you said that because I think the young lady's trying to come in. I don't see her. Is up on yours? Anyone trying to come in?
I can't see it because it's on.
Okay.
It's on your.
On me, right? Okay. So okay. So funny you said that.
Wow, she might be coming in on that first link, maybe.
No.
Oh, she's not.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. So if she does, though, that'll be good. That give us, another perspective about the situation that she said she's been listening to us. talk about this. Well, y'all, I've just been sitting back listening and taking it all in. But it's just, for me though, it's just so hard that, you know, you just got to really find, okay, there she comes, and we're gonna bring her in. But that you know, that intent, or that you know, what the ladies that, because there's a lot of this there, you know, Bill was Bill, and you know, like I said, that culture was there, and he wasn't the only one.
Hard to
So
say that.
it's just
And we like Bill. You know,
yeah.
he portrayed a positive image on TV, so it was kind of.
Mhm.
And then, you know, you kind of listen to Spicee, and I mean, she really, you know, the trauma, you know, when she said she, you know, watch, you know, and then I don't know, I don't know. It's just so hard when, I guess, you don't get all the information and see, you know, the ladies talk about it, and you know, I just don't see that. I just think it happened. And you know, someone was waiting for a case Bill blew up at the time, you know, all that time, you know, and then, you know, it's a lot of stuff that's but my thing is, you know, like I said, I do not, if someone rapes a woman, they gotta go. They gotta go. They do it so wrong. But my thing also, and then I'm gonna introduce our guests who just come in. How you doing, Natasha?
Hey, kings and queens, how's it going?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna
Proud of
introduce
my
you, but yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. And it's so crazy. Laura had just mentioned, you know, that your comment from last night, and I guess your timing was perfect, man.
I see. I missed that. I've been listening, but I missed that comment because it was such a good commentary. I thought, well, let me take a few notes. So I had to pause for a minute before I hopped on so I could give my commentary. Which comments? I made about 3 comments.
Well, you said this is a really a trigger conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It pushed a bunch of buttons.
Well, let me give a quick introduction there, Laura, and then we can you can hit her up if you want to hit her up. But joining us is Latasha Featherstone from Oklahoma City, right? Oklahoma City, yeah.
By way of San Jose, California, but yes, I'm an Okie.
Okay. She wears many hats, and you know. And I've been introduced to her through, she's an entertainer, but she does much more. She's corporate, she's, you know, and she also has a character that she's developed called Miss Maybelline. And so Laura, you're gonna have to talk, you know, get to know who Miss Maybelline is.
Put a little plug in there. I see you, Vance.
Yeah, I just want to come in and
okay, booked and busy now.
And so you know, Laura. So we got Laura, who's our creator of TAAN TV, the African American.
Absolutely.
Got to put the plug in. Where we have a logo film.
I've been watching it and watching some of the footage here over the past few weeks. So it's a local reach with a global feel. Is that it, Miss Laura?
It's close. A
Local
feel with a global reach. Yeah. A local feel.
With a local feel. Got you.
Global reach. Yes, ma'am. So how are you?
I am great. How's everybody doing, kings and queens? I'm honored to share some energy and commentary with you all. I'm going to be on briefly because I'm supposed to be on voice rest. One of the things that I do, I am a performer. Latasha's book this time, though, for a play called Shaking the Mess Out of Misery here in Oklahoma City. We have shows running from July 22nd to August 1st. I'm one of the lead roles. I talk a lot. I'm having to shut up. So
you got a good voice.
My little part and get on because I really like a good conversation. Just to tell a little bit more about myself so you know who I am. I know everybody on here is mostly from Texas. My mother was born and raised in Paris, Texas. So I got a lot of love for Texas. So just know that. Yes, I have a character, Mother Maybelline. She's 13 years old. She's your gangster grandma raised by the church and by the streets, leader of Saints and Aints Comedy and the Red Cup Ministries. And I've been working for myself about 2.5 years in entertainment. I have a production company called King's Child 24/7 Productions. I do social media management, talent management. I have a vocal artist as well as a visual artist. My kids, we built an empire in our family so we can own everything. And they're both entrepreneurs. I manage them, 16 and 20. And myself, this is what I do. I just vibe. I minister to people. Also a council member for OIC Business Academy. So we just graduated 13 Black-owned businesses, and we have a new cohort starting July 20th. So Vance is right. I have a lot going on. I thank God. I try not to complain because it's busy, but it's everything that I asked him for. So,
wow. And you sleep when?
when I can get it. You know, one thing I like about being my boss is no, I'm not calling in late to nobody. So if I sleep to my 11 o'clock meeting and get up at 10:57, that's just what it is some days.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm really honored to be on this panel, though, and I appreciate you guys for having me. And, you know, I did get a chance to see maybe about 15 minutes of the panel. I recognized Spicee's name because we were both in the comments, and I was being kind of honored because I'm a comedian, right? Maybelline's been around 13 years. So my trigger comment was really kind of poking at the guys, not realizing that it really was a trigger. I was kind of being funny because, you know, in today's times, we kind of got this thing going where women are taking a more masculine role and men more feminine. So I was kind of jokey at first, but then I realized that everybody speaks from personal experience. So it may seem like my opinion's right or yours is wrong, but I feel like people speak from something they've experienced. You know, one of the things the gentleman said last night was that his daughter was assaulted. So it's clear that you will have a tunnel vision. Spicee says she has been assaulted. You're going to have a view from your experience. One of my childhood best friends was molested, and not only by somebody that she knew, but her siblings were by. And so having a friend for years going through that, and other friends and people, I do realize some of the things that come with being a victim and just being a support system for other people that have been. So I say that so that it doesn't seem like some of my commentary is insensitive to a victim, because I agree with a lot of the commentary that was already said. I don't care if you are baby oil down, honey, with your whatever you like, swinging from the pole. If I say no, it's a wrap. And
that's right.
That's it.
well, is I think women should be careful about how aggressive they are. I think it works both ways, because I think sometimes we get a pass for some things that could be considered assault. On the flip side, you know, Bill Cosby, it was disheartening. You know, growing up with this man, you know, I wanted Denise to be my big sister, Theo to be my brother, you know, watching the Cosby Show growing up and all of that stuff. And then the fact that he's so elderly now. And then the other part that really that got to me when I first heard about it was often in the Black community, all of our heroes are just dethroned. So we get into a point that there are, even when we think, you know, even like the young lady that's going on now with the Olympics, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying one way or the other, you break a rule, you don't, whatever. I'm just saying that it always seems to be, not always, but a lot of the time, it seems to be that our heroes are stripped away. And so it's a constant reminder that when we're at a certain level of status, we are, I don't know, sometimes targeted in a sense. You know, I know we're talking about men of power. And so I do think it's a difference when you're raped by a man of power and maybe someone else, even though statistically, most people are raped by people that they know. And so, I do want to say what bothers me about cases like this, 12 years is a long time to try to remember the details of something, especially if you were inebriated. You know, and I think about times I've gone to parties and gotten tipsy, or, you know, maybe we smoke, you know, whatever. You do whatever your pleasure is, right? I'm not a pill popper into those things. So I can't say what a pill would do to you, but I feel like even though for victims it's a trauma situation, is difficult to discuss, but I think if we're talking about on a level of justice, right, it's supposed to go both ways until you're proven guilty. I think for those that are accused, it kind of can be an injustice, because I can think of stories right now that I could have told you from high school or college 10 years ago, and that memory has changed.
Yes.
Not saying that a person forgets when they're raped or if they raped a victim, but I am saying that some of the details could change. There's things that I look at, especially in growing just as a woman even and as a person. And I'll say, you know what, now that I'm kind of here and I've grown through this, maybe that isn't quite how that happened. Maybe that was my perspective, but now that I'm here, this is kind of what happened. We don't really know what people are into. Y'all know that saying, there's the truth, there's my story, your story, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle. We don't know what kind of fetishes people have. This is what bothers me too.
Right.
Some people are into getting choked, into getting forced, you know. And if I'm getting too deep, Terry, y'all can turn your camera off. But no, I'm just kidding.
I like it.
Just in case. But
Okay.
we never know what a person's fetish is or what they really are doing behind the scenes.
Right.
So we never know when a person says they want to be choked or they want to be. And so if you've kind of got a certain precedence, unless we're going to go into all of that, like for me, the way my mind is analytically, those are the kind of discussions I want to see had. Have there ever been any role play of that nature? Is there any reason this man would think it's okay to handle you like this? Because the truth is some women are turned on by that, you know, and I think that that's a very fine and delicate line if you don't really get off into those sort of things. I'm looking down at my notes, guys, and I keep pausing real quick so I can get on and let somebody else talk. The other thing that kind of bothers me is, in a case like this, when I was in high school, I worked for a year with Judge B. Lewis. He's one of our criminal judges out here now in Oklahoma. And shout out to you, Judge Lewis. And I took my LSAT about 20 years ago, and I worked for some attorneys for a couple of years around that LSAT. So I've been involved on the administrative side of working for attorneys, working for a judge. And there's a lot of times when conversations happen that people don't want to agree to, but it's a better means to an end. And when you're talking to an attorney and they say, listen, this is what it's going to be. You're either going to take a chance of being in jail, not saying that Bill maybe wasn't given real information or real details or not, the ones that the attorney said that they couldn't prosecute him for later. But let's just say that that was the conversation. Listen, Bill, we got enough to put you away for 150 years, or we can just close that on out. Because my alarms always go up when a woman decides to close a criminal case, because her attorney couldn't have just said that for her. She would have had to agree to him saying that. When a woman closes out a criminal case, but wants to keep us civil for $3 million, my thing is, if I've been violated, I care about my bank account. That's not going to help my trauma. So I care more about my bank account more than I care about him actually serving the time for assaulting me. That's already a signal to me. So in my mind, it's a possibility, right? So this might seem off the charts, but it's a possibility that Bill was in a situation where it was a no-win situation no matter what. Because we've got several women saying, whatever, this is what we're going to do. And maybe he just said, you know what? You know, fine, that's what it is. And in somebody's mind, you would say, well, who would do that? Well, you don't know what you would do until you're in a situation where you're already seasoned and what we would consider, you know, the last of your real good years left. You don't know what could happen. So maybe you don't want to get caught in that situation. The other part, I'll say this, two other points, and then I'll let somebody else talk. I'm a performer. My goal is definitely to be known and be famous, right? Me and my daughter talk about this often. I think that social media has created a sense of nosiness that we all have about people that we don't have a right to. I think we are all up in people's business. We're all judging. And what's hypocritical is a lot of the judgment that we make our own front door is so damn dirty, it doesn't make sense. And so this is what Maybelline talks about. That's why I created a grandmother, so I could talk to my people, because who's going to talk back to their grandma? And so I think that we have to sometimes back up a little bit and pull ourselves out of a situation. So when I found out he was out, I decided not to think a whole lot, because I just don't know enough. You know, there's so many questionable things, and no matter what we speculate, this man's life will never be the same. He's already on the list. It doesn't matter. He's going to suffer the rest of his life, whether he's in jail or not. It's a wrap for Bill Cosby. He's not no longer America's dad. It is what it is. But if I had the ability to get to Tyler Perry, for example, you've got to have a certain level of aggression. These women are not being picked by famous people sitting quietly in the stadium of 1 million people, and Bill looked across the stadium way back there and said, "You coming with me tonight." I
Right,
feel to get in that type of person's position,
right,
you got to be kind of, "Hey, what's going on, babe? Can we get back there?" You got to be doing something.
right.
So in my mind, when you bought the tickets to go wherever, or you knew, you already know enough to know you trying to get up in that area. You know,
Mhm.
now again, she still can say no at any time. But and this ties into my last point. What bothers me about the Black community is that we're finally speaking about trauma, or just period. But the Me Too movement can also be manipulated in a sense that everybody's motive is not truly that they've been affected. So now
Right.
it's almost like the boy crying wolf. You never really know when to take it seriously, and you never know when it's, just whatever. But what bothers me is we come from a community of people that, and I know I'm not the only one that grew up this way, when anybody could say something to you to redirect you, and excuse my language, if they saw you on some bullshit, they would tell you mama, they would tell you auntie. For some reason now we want to talk to the predators, but we don't want to talk to the victims about preventative measure. And that's what bothers me. See, what we want to say is they've been through trauma. So that means I can't say to them, "Well, baby, why did you go to that married man's hotel room late at
Our
night?
house,
Let's talk
yeah.
about how that could not happen again." The only thing that we get tunnel vision on is, well, anytime she said no, she could have stopped. See, I'm a mother of a 16-year-old. The conversations are way before that. What are you doing there? And that's the part that bothers me. I'd like to see more discussion. And I know sometimes we can't control, especially if you're a minor in the care of an adult that's sexually assaulting you, like my childhood best friend was. You can't control, of course, who the predator is, but there is a percentage that I think we could save or could have saved if we can get back to that village thinking of, let me talk to you and redirect you. Yes, I'm sorry you incurred that trauma. Yes, I'm sorry this happened. But do me a favor. Stop trying to get VIP passes to these concerts and
Right,
shows.
right,
Going to
right.
the hotel room with these rap stars and these I'm not saying in a bad way, because my son's one, I'm a comedian, all that, but I'm just saying, stop putting yourself in that position, because it's now saying I have no control of my space. And some spaces we got to control a little bit better. We just got to do our due diligence. So that's my thoughts on that. But I did agree with a lot of the
Right.
commentary I heard. It's a good discussion.
And then you take a man to a certain level and then you say no. And
Yeah.
it's difficult. So
It is difficult. It's very difficult.
it's a thin line between rape and, I'm already there. I'm not, it's difficult.
Just got to
Right.
get up, girl. Just got to get up and go.
And so
When I was in high school, my mom, one of the things she would say to me, especially talking about purity, and a lot of what she said worked for me, but she said, you can't you can't be on a date and let a guy have one hand in your bra and one in your panties asking God to give you strength. She was just like that. She just said, you've got to put yourself in a position to not be in that position. And so I knew girls
you
in
gotta
high
say
school who'd been
no
assaulted and
earlier
things
and
like
mean
that.
it.
Yeah,
I
so I
just-
took it seriously.
I believe that, like Bill, unfortunately for Miss Gray, was different. She was violently assaulted, so that means somebody violently did something to her, and my heart goes out to you. And I wish I could catch him.
Absolutely.
But when you look at Bill's, it's a lot different than hers. Bill's were, predator or not, they came to him, and they wanted something from him. And I just think that as a father of 3 daughters, I was, I'm in a fraternity, play a little ball, so you always got to say, hey, what, Vance? Don't hang out with people like me.
Yeah, right.
Don't get caught going to Denny's at 2:00 in the morning and say, hey, you want to stop by for a cup of coffee? That ain't a cup of coffee, babe. Every daddy was a player. And I think that's the problem with Black families. We want our daughters to be princesses, but we wouldn't treat somebody else's daughters like a princess. So you have to make sure that you do.
And your daughter's a princess to you.
To me, but not to everybody.
In your eyes.
Right.
And so you don't know if she's being a princess.
So I think when you said that they understood what they were getting into, as we said earlier, In that instance, in that arena, yes. Because when you're dealing with famous or powerful men, you know, you can do anything. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but he's the owner of an NFL football team. And he was having sex with minors. And all of a sudden, because they illegally taped him, it went away. Does that not make him a pedophile? Yes. Just means you can't prosecute. Those are the things. What I'm saying about Bill is Bill was fine until he crossed that line of black and white. When he wanted to buy NBC, that's when all this stuff came out. If Bill would have never said anything about NBC, wouldn't have came out. I 100% believe that. I'm not going to say all those ladies, but some of those ladies, as you said, was probably plants to get him where they needed to be. If you return, I know Spicee she would like to return one time with a razor blade.
Right.
You know, I'm serious, Spicee. I would help. I hold him down for it. But the point I'm trying to say is she would return it 4 or 5 times for just to hang out, knowing what happened the first time. So you have to look at the principle of these people. I mean, Bill thought he was the predator, but he was the prey. And she got 3.3, 4, whatever. I mean, and she made sure she got her money. That's wrong. That is wrong.
And it's just
So I'm not belittling the real ladies that Bill drugged and maybe had sex with or had them touch him or whatever that case may be. But I'm saying to the ones who were hunting Bill as prey to do that. They do it to all celebrities, all ball players, like I said about Chancey Billups. I'm not saying it because I'm a man and I think we are clean and sweet and innocent. That's a crock of crap. But what I'm saying is that you can't always believe every woman. We look at women, and that's why the court system is so messed up. They look at the woman as if it's their daughter, not the girl that they had in high school or in college, but their daughter. And when you look at that, I don't care what a man says to me. If I'm thinking you did that to my daughter, you're guilty. I don't care. So all I'm saying about Bill is this. He got convicted. It got overturned. He admitted to certain things, and people have their rights to interpret his comments the way they want to. But I think that any man that forces himself on a woman, a child, or another man for power and all that, I would like for him to go to one of those major cities and hang out in the hood and find out just what it is to be prey. Because you're preying on innocent people like Miss Spice and friends that I know. And shit, you deserve it. You deserve to go to jail. I've always said, and I'm sure, Spice would agree with me.
I just don't think he forced himself on.
That's what I got to say
all of those.
So give us a station break. Give us a station. You want me to do it?
Well, thank you.
I can do it.
He ran out of words.
So you're tuned into TAAN TV, the African American Network. We're in the room on TAAN at Night, and Miss Latasha Featherstone just walked in the room and took us to school. We thank her so much for coming on and hanging out. And that voice sounds fine to me. It sounds really, really good. You sound like you might sing a little gospel.
Just a little bit.
As well.
Musician, yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So
Thank you.
what's the character? She does a lot of things, but I'm intrigued by this character that she's developed.
What you said? What about her now?
I'm intrigued.
Thank you. I'm glad.
About the
She's
grandmother.
quite interesting. She's something else.
Miss Maybelline.
Maybelline, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how can people see that somewhere or listen to that somewhere?
Yes, they can actually follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and on Instagram. Facebook at Maybelline, that's Mabellean. And they can follow me on Instagram at mother_Mabel_lean and
Wow.
TikTok at Maybelline Comedian. And so I'd love to have you guys come in. I used to do a podcast weekly. We're getting ready to start bringing it back, but it'll probably only be once or twice a month. It ain't my business, but if it was, and basically it's your old lady neighbor talking about stuff that ain't your business, but she's gonna weigh in. And
You're
then
a
I
country
also
folk
have
woman, be busy, don't you?
I have a giveaway show, which is how I got tied in with Vance. And it was on my heart one day last year to do some giving on the pandemic. God just put it on my heart to go live. And I was going to just bless some people. And it would, trust me, wasn't going to cover no house payment or nothing, but it was just going to be something enough to get your little cheeseburger or something. And so, when I was on there, one of his good friends and colleagues, and one of mine as well, Robert McClendon, aka Dirty Rob with the Renadads, he said, hey, I'll match you. I'll give somebody something. And I got off and he said, you should do that again. The Renadads will team up with Maybelline and friends. So we did 27 episodes last year during the pandemic. Not calculated all that we've given away yet. I'm getting ready to go through and do like a reel from what we did last year. But we introduced the wheel. We've got a winning wheel, and we incorporated Black businesses in town and did giveaways every week. And it was just a blessing. I had a lot of people reaching out just saying, man, we kind of needed that laughter. So Wednesday nights, when everybody was locked in, we had a meeting of the Red Cup Ministries. And that would sometimes go into the wee hours of the night, but we're going to be bringing that back soon. And most recently was named 405 Magazine Comedian of 2021. So I was excited about that. And 100, the inaugural edition of 100, I was recently nominated 100 top extraordinary women in Oklahoma City. So I'm doing a photo shoot for that this week. So it's been, let me tell you something. God told me on March the 4th of 2020, I'm going to elevate you in the midst of the pandemic so they know it's me. And I said, let's go. And that's what we did do. So I'm just so grateful, extremely, extremely grateful. So I appreciate you guys for sure.
Wow, so you got to teach me how to do TikTok. I keep looking at it. I'm like,
I just started it, but
oh, Miss Lord, we don't want to see you on TikTok dance. Doing all that stuff. We don't want to
I'm going to tell you, TikTok is fun.
Spicee, fierce.
Spicee, fierce.
Are you guys on TikTok? Is anybody else on TikTok on here?
Spicee is.
Spicee on TikTok. You be getting down.
It's fun.
My kids are teaching me. So far, it's just been videos to introduce the shows every week. But my son told me that we're gonna be getting together. He's gonna show me how to do TikTok so we can start doing more live. So, because I enjoy seeing a lot of people on there, and believe it or not, there are older people on there.
There are.
Yeah, I saw this one old guy that got down.
And they have
if I have a bad back and a bad knee, I can do.
Oh, is this just for dancing? Like, what is it for? What do people do on TikTok?
So it's almost like a combination of kind of like Instagram, but it's all visual. I've only been on about a month and a half, but you can only do 15-second and 60-second videos. So it kind of just forces you to be really creative in a short amount of time. They're having dance competitions and showing what they're wearing and dressing. And, you know, my page, of course, I'm talking about side pieces and all kind of stuff on mine. So I don't know.
So wrong.
It's a comedy page. So.
Oh, I will never. What's your page again?
Yeah, but after you get so many viewers, you also can go live as well.
Oh, really?
It's a lot of fun.
That's
You should get
amazing.
10 TV on there. It's a lot of fun. You guys would like it.
Yeah, I'm
Get like
trying to figure out
And we should get Miss Maybelline on TAAN TV.
Awesome. I'd
love to see that.
And then you can say where we have a local feel.
Yeah,
with
the global reach.
And you're hanging out with the fabulous, friendly, feisty, fierce, and phenomenal.
I heard that. Phenomenal with an F.
And Vance Bradford in the room. How about that?
I know that's right. Well, you can just call me the gangster grandma. That's it. Maybelline. I don't have grandkids in real life yet. My kids are too young, but just Maybelline.
You need some, I can lend you some. I got a bunch of.
No, not yet.
I got 7. 4 girls, 3 boys.
Oh.
Keep all the boys. I rent the girls out because they just bad.
Oh.
So,
But I love them to death. I really love them all to death.
wow. So everybody don't have the same hours as the TAAN TV people and the comedian in Vance, Bradford, where we can kind of sleep in between work. Some people have regular schedules.
I think I work between sleep. I think I work between sleep.
Right. So, before we go, and I hate to go, I really hate to go. I could just do this all night, but Juanita, do you have any closing remarks? Juanita's my baby sister.
Oh,
She's
awesome.
a baby.
But she's really like my older sister because she tells
She
me.
must be taller than you, beat you
what
up.
to do.
That's what
Yes.
it is.
Does Juanita
She's
keeping you
done-
in line? Her face said, that's
Yeah,
right.
That's it. Come on, baby sis, tell us what you got to say.
Oh, basically, I just feel like, parents should set the foundation for their children. And especially in certain environments, when going, I know me and Laura were totally opposite people. So I was like the party animal, and Laura, she was like a hermit. But anyway, I knew, what I was taught, and I followed it, my entire life. And I think that, we should never pass judgment on anybody. Bill Cosby, he paid the price for what they said he did. I feel like some of the women put themselves in the position, and there were consequences, and it's sad, but it happened. So Bill is now out on technicalities, and hopefully, well, we already know he's not going anywhere now. He's pretty much confinement, homebound.
Right.
But it's sad that they waited so long to do it. And I'm going to agree with Terry, as far as when he came out, NBC, that was it. He wanted to purchase NBC, and everything went downhill thereafter, which it should have went uphill for him. But, I'm not the one to make that decision. And, I wish him the best, but I also wish the women the best. Please don't misunderstand me. Rape is rape. When you say no, it means no.
True.
So Miss Tiff.
Oh, I agree that there is no excuse for rape. When you say no, it is no. But I also know that when the authorities, when the law says we're not going to convict you if you tell us the truth, you tell us this information, you sign paperwork. Okay, we are exchanging immunity for this piece of information. Then they have to uphold that. You can't, and they have to uphold it in every situation, or not uphold it in any situation. So if this black man comes through, you don't have the right to go, well, he's black and he thinks he's somebody, so we're gonna take this and throw this hand grenade out there and utilize this information to go at him. Do I think he did these things? Yeah, but I know that when it comes down to it, none of us should know about it. None of us should know anything about it.
That is true.
Because at the beginning, none of this was. It was never supposed to be out in the public that he did that.
That is true.
It was never supposed to be out there. I think rape is rape, but we're talking about two different pieces of the same puzzle. Those women could have come out after that, and his testimony wasn't wasn't submitted and all that, if it would have happened differently, it would be different. But this was specifically because of something he said, because he thought he wasn't going to get into any trouble for it.
Miss
That was good,
Spicey.
Tiffany.
I agree. I agree with Tiffany as well, Juanita and Natasha. I mean, I learned a lot as well because even though I was one of those victims, looking at Bill Cosby's side and also looking at the case itself, I mean, it raises a lot of questions, especially, you know, with the one woman that kept going back around him. You know, that don't sit right with me. And you gotta look at the way it's making you look. You look like you're guilty, because why would you continue? If I know somebody is going to cause me harm, why am I gonna continue to go around them? I'm gonna stay away from them. And you know, I don't know whether he followed through on I think it was what, $3 million for her, you know, but on pertaining to her, I feel like she was really just trying to, one, prey on him, two was the fact that something went wrong to where she felt like, well, I'm gonna get you back. And she came out and spoke went against him. And I feel like about the other women, I can't take their word away from them. I just can't.
That's true.
But you know, when it comes down to the case itself, whether we agree or disagree, at the end of the day, you know, he's out on technicality because they didn't do what they didn't upheld their promise. They entrapped him.
And that goes back to the whole issue of us and equity, because these sorts of deals are made every single day. While we're sitting here on this call, somewhere in the United States,
making a deal right now.
They are making a deal with some little low-level criminal saying,
Right, absolutely.
if you tell us
what
the
you're
truth,
He said it like Wanda Sykes, low-level criminal.
and they uphold it. And they uphold it. So in the case of this, so what does this tell us again? If you Black, what they will do to the least of us, they will do to the best of us.
Yes.
So
that is true.
We can, you know, it can be me, it can be you, if the same rules are not being applied to us. You know, if they make a deal with some homeless white guy today to tell the truth and tell us this information, and you have immunity, he's gonna get immunity.
True.
They're doing it all over. So, but Bill Cosby is telling that he committed this felony, or this series of felonies, and he's doing so with the promise of immunity, and is then convicted. That, you know, people get us into the argument of the felony itself, and nobody's arguing that that rape is right or wrong. We all know rape is wrong.
Right. That is correct.
The argument is, are the laws in this nation, and this goes across all kinds of areas, are the laws in this nation being applied fairly to African Americans?
Thank you.
In this case, we see, hell to the no, it's not.
Right.
That it's not.
I mean, people are scaling walls at the Capitol and getting probation, so these are just the times.
Okay, you can go and do all kinds of straight up crap if you want.
That is true.
You can go do.
And you can't have the conversation without saying that, though. I'm glad you said that, because I know that some Black people will say, well, we can't say that Black people get off for everything because we're Black. Well, no, nobody's saying that.
No,
but
we're saying apply these laws
without saying
well,
that.
Ladies, I'm gonna take you back a little history. I know y'all gonna know this name. What's that young man's name?
Tupac.
God. No, not Tupac. Y'all was talking. I'm old, so y'all made me forget.
I'm not old. Now you
old
gotta
like
be
that.
down
So
my
we made
Tell
you
me how his
forget.
name was.
That old.
Till, the young guy in the. What's the young guy's name?
Emmett Till?
Emmett.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Emmett was the first that we noticed that was charged with something like that, and white people just say, "Hey, that's how it is." I wish that we, as a people, right or wrong, will stand behind our community. We're not the best. We're not the worst. We're just a community. And Black people have a lot of educated people in the community that can speak very well for themselves. And we need to use that voice. But that being said, I want to ask LaWanda one question before she leaves.
Who's LaWanda?
I'm sorry, Juanita, Miss Turner.
Oh, Juanita.
Juanita?
I want to ask you one question, girl.
Bless his heart.
Call her Miss Turner because she might get
Somebody looking down like that.
Was you at Howard?
Late.
Was you at Howard when your sister showed up in that Mustang with the flip flops on?
No.
You're talking to Juanita?
Yes, you're a sister. Yes.
I was not at Howard. I went to Prairie View.
Okay. Well, see, you got away with that one, Miss Laura. I was just trying to find that. I remember Prairie View, Vance. Remember they gave me that offer?
Yep.
Terry trying to start something.
13 years of losing seasons, but we won.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
So you've been tuned into TAAN TV.
And whatever you see here is what you get.
I just make one more comment. Can I make one more comment?
Yes.
I was just listening to Tiffany speak, and I think that if we just pull 200 cases of our young Black men and just investigate it, I bet you 100 of them could be out on technicalities.
Absolutely.
They sit there and they make them testify and make them say certain things and say that they're not going to charge them, and they end up charging them. It would promise you 5 years, but you end up getting 15 to 20.
There you go.
So,
because they don't have dream team lawyers.
That's it.
They do not have dream team lawyers like Bill Cosby did, and he went to jail because Bill wasn't standing there like Ted on the street corner, like, oh, y'all told me to tell the truth, I got to tell the truth. No, he was lawyered up.
Right.
He walked in there with a team. And you can walk in with the team knowing what to do and what not to do. And
that is true.
So Bill, and when I say the best of us, I'm saying I'm not saying that Bill is the best in character or the best in fortitude or the best in whatever. I'm saying
he's a man just like
we have
everybody
people
else,
who have
right?
elevated to a certain level in society, and you are thinking that you are going to receive the same accoutrements as all of your other peers at that level.
That's it.
You find out you're still an N at the end of the day.
What's
That's
the
right.
N?
That's what
I
Bill
keep
just
hearing
found
this N stuff. You saying nigga?
oh, wow.
You know, but that's exactly what you find out.
I
Is that
understand.
when those same people are looking at you,
Yeah.
they don't see your Rolls Royce or whatever it is you're driving around in. They don't see all of that stuff that you think has made you somebody. What they see is the same thing as Pookie and them on the corner.
So basically,
Well, they see it, but they don't want you to have it.
That is it.
Whether you house or field, a slave is a slave to them, right?
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Stay in your place, boy. Stay in your place, boy.
You know, and there's nobody that has achieved whatever they've achieved that has not experienced that. Like Laura knows that my mother just passed about 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry.
On
So sorry,
June 25th. And during that time, someone that I work with, so as a CEO, I'm under a board. There was someone that was essentially telling me that through his actions. So I say that to say the tipster was scrapping with this fool. Lord knows, professionally.
Right, right.
Professionally. Now
Well, I'm
this
not
person,
professional, but you call me.
this
You know,
person
you know
don't
that
tell me,
email where you say per our previous discussion, that's a professional read.
Right, as per.
you know, but this person is going to tell me I'm not intelligent enough.
Ooh.
Mm.
Wow.
Not intelligent enough. Who? April 14th, I took my job because I was trying to figure out what happened to kidney with my family and kidney disease.
Mhm.
So one of the things I did, got a leadership credential from Harvard University.
Mm.
I was a Harvard kid. Oh, the black chick at the front.
Yeah, yeah.
One.
You was a charity
April
case.
14th, I did find out what was going on with my family.
Mhm.
It's something called APOL1. It's the first genetic link to African Americans. Who is the person on this board who is published in the premier journal, peer review, all the questions that help doctors differentiate between APOL1 and FSGS, that's regular kidney disease. It's not that fool.
Right.
It's the black chick at the front. So you don't get to tell me I'm nobody.
That's it.
Because the
They
God
will.
of Abraham and Joseph says I'm somebody.
I know that.
And
think so.
you, and I can take you with my frontal lobe completely anesthetized. Because you can't fade me. Black people have always been head and shoulders above you. We've had to
That's
be
it.
number one. Number one, we do 100% more. We do better. We run circles around you. And you have the nerve to come at me? And my mama, it was me and my mama scrapping you, fool.
Better check.
Don't
Don't check.
get tears here. What you're gonna get is that left hook. You're gonna get that left hook
I
from
ain't
the
mad at
pistol.
it.
Thanks to
There's one thing
CEO
you don't want to
right
mess with
Right.
a mad black woman. You just in trouble.
Listen.
But she does it with a smile.
Yeah.
I threw a smile. I was professional, and I went at it.
Absolutely.
And I said, "You were nominated to be on the gubernatorial task force by me.
Now,
There you
And you
go.
were
like
accepted.
Tina, Tina said,
My
they can't. They
nomination.
here to
And he
see
ain't
me.
smart enough.
Man.
18
That's
people
one
on
of the
that
reasons
task
why I
force.
did not return to corporate America. We had a company layoff. I'd been there 10 years, created a training and development program for promotions. And when God let me leave there with the severance package, 50 employees, I ran and said, I will not go back for that very reason. You know, being in
Because
that
it's
board with
nonsense.
people.
You know,
And
but
how
I
do they
said all
come, you know the job more than they do. They have to come to you and ask you how do things
Oh
get
no,
done.
it's worse than that. You train them to take your place.
Right.
Yes.
everybody on this panel knows what that's like. And
Yes.
that is exactly
That is
what Bill Cosby was experiencing.
Right.
That's what that brother was experiencing.
Nobody's, belittling the women. I want to understand it right now. But 100%, if Bill would have never ran for wanted to own NBC, we wouldn't have this conversation because the white man wouldn't have cared. And that's
Well,
the
they could
truth.
they could have just said no. We don't want to sell it.
Oh no, he had the money back then. I mean, he only worth
But that
400
don't
million
mean-
now.
Yeah.
But he was 400 million back in the 80s was
Yeah.
a billion. And
There's a
he
lot.
could have bought it. He could have bought it.
Scared of us in power.
Well, they always ask, I have this question all the time, so maybe I should ask the panel. The question is always, why is white people so afraid of us? My answer is, and you can tell me your answer when you get done, is this. After all you put us through, we are still here and we are still successful. So that is their fear, that they can't beat us. They did everything they could. They raped men, they raped women, they raped children, they beat us, they sold us off, and we still here.
created laws and
That's it. And
ordinances
we got
and
women like
everything.
Miss Tiffany and the rest of these ladies on this panel that are doing their own job. Spicee. I can't see that well because we got my glasses off. So I'm gonna say Miss Turner and Miss Fletchstone. I can read those.
Fletchstone.
Miss
That's it, right?
Maybelline.
Fletchstone.
Yeah,
Put
but
your
that
glasses
would
on.
Say
Miss
Fletchstone.
Miss Featherstone.
that would do
That's
Fred.
okay,
Okay.
Terry. That's okay.
Like I said, I don't have my glasses on. But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is people like the people on this panel have
Mhm.
succeeded and came above. They always try to put us down by saying you're not smart enough or why do you think
Angry.
Well,
you're
they
just lucky, you're blessed that we let you have this job.
well, and
Shit, I mean,
it don't matter. It don't matter what they
yeah.
do or say.
You know, the
Now, that don't mean
irony,
all white people are
the
bad. I
irony
won't
of
say
it all
that.
from what Terry's saying too, the irony of it is, in my mind, the savagery was taught basically from white slave owners. I mean, you put black people in an environment to be abused and killed and raped and murdered, and then you carry some of that with you. And so I just kind of think that whole thing is interesting. I'll say that I'm glad that we're having the conversations, because I know we all remember a time when we didn't talk about these things in our community. It was hush hush. You could know somebody in the family was raping and molesting girls and nobody would say a word. We would pretend like it didn't happen. So I'm glad that no matter how it has to happen, that now we are saying that. Now we have to be more embracing when our girls come to us, when our boys come to us, when they tell us things, to not automatically discount it, not automatically think they're not telling the truth. Because even though I'm saying what I'm saying about preventive, I'm also saying we still, have to protect. So I really hope we keep having these conversations and, different platforms and different panels and in real life, because it really is a necessary conversation. Nobody's going to protect us like we're going to protect us, and as far as somebody like Bill, something I didn't say earlier, when people are famous, they get scrutinized a whole lot more than an average person would. I think it's unfortunate because these people have worked to be spectacular or extraordinary or make these things happen in their life. And it's like the reward for that is to get extra scrutiny. So at the same time that we have healthy discussion about it, I hope that, in real life, people aren't living looking for the next news article or piece of gossip to live and thrive on. Because I think that it's a certain energy that you carry with you when you constantly absorbing all of that. So I think for me, I know my level. I know how deep to go in, where I just got to say, I ain't going to read the stuff. I really glanced at tonight because I want to come on here and just be prepared for the discussion. I kind of knew what was going on, but nowadays you don't have to watch the news. You can just scroll Facebook and everybody.
Did you see it last night?
I
Did you
just
see it
scroll through
last
and
night?
okay.
Lord.
Right. So we're not gonna recap that like Miss Featherstone said. We just gonna say to our audience that we're glad you're watching. If you're still out there watching, share it and watch it later. You have been tuned into TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And you've been in the room with Vance, Bradford, and all of these phenomenal people this morning.
Time for breakfast.
It is morning.
So I'd like to hear.
Driving up,
midnight.
everybody to breakfast.
Right, waffles and wings, or what is it? Chicken and waffles. But
Chicken and
anyway, Vance is gonna take us out.
That's what I was saying. I'll be there by the time y'all go.
Yeah, one of his favorite songs. He's gonna.
Oh yeah, which one you gonna play, man?
Gonna close.
Well, first of all,
that guy that sound like Luther.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna probably go out with a Danny Clay, but first of all, I would love to say I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. You guys are fantastic, and you really shared some good info, and some personal feelings and experiences, and it was really good. I mean, Spicee, Juanita, Tiffany. Excellent. That was that neat. And then
I think I said
and then the icing on the cake come on in was Latasha, so she, and hey, and if you Latasha, you came in, like you sat back, you watched, you was listening, you was taking notes, and you brought it. So if you hadn't brought it out, hey, you brought it, and you put the icing on the cake, man. And I think this one show, Laura, I think we're gonna keep up. We're gonna leave up because I think every one of you guys,
It was very positive.
very proud.
Now
Well,
that was
I
kind
mean,
of petty, Dennis.
but you brought it, and I really do, and the thing about it, everyone had their they stated their own
Yeah.
opinion, what they felt. I like that. Juanita, I like you.
Yeah.
You stood yours, and Tiffany and Spicee.
Yeah.
Everybody added their thing.
I
and
think
then,
respect
like
is
I
just the
said,
biggest
Yeah,
factor.
we
You can
respect
have
it.
any
Yeah, respect.
discussion. It's just how you have it. You
Yes.
know,
You can also have
and not
respect for
even
each
just last
other.
night, but we see that a lot. We get so riled up, and then we don't even remember. You ever get into arguing with somebody? I don't remember what the hell we was arguing about. You know, let yourself just get so, and you trying to
Lord,
remember.
I forget what
was
I'm
I
talking about.
That's when you
Mhm.
know. Let me just step back for a minute. So it happens, but we got to learn how to have discussions with each other with different opinions
Yes.
and still be able to walk away with high energy and love and just say, okay, cool. That's what I think, and that's what you think. So you
Just
guys
be
are
like-
doing a great job, though. I appreciate you for having me for sure.
Oh yeah, and see, even the fact where everyone was comfortable, even our gangster CEO let her hair down and let them words come on out. We love it.
Like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oops.
Hey, that's why we keep it real. We keep it real right here on TAAN TV at night, and you guys, and we really appreciate it. I'm glad we formed this group. Didn't know what was going to come out. We was talking at first, but this is solid. This is solid.
I thought it was a
Thank you for having
lengthy.
me.
I really did. But
Yeah.
you ladies, you made me feel great,
Yeah,
and you
really.
inspired me, and you also educated me. So I like to say thank you to
Awesome. Great
all four of
commentary
you
from
ladies.
everybody. You guys did great.
Yeah.
Of course, that's after his 7 glasses of that wine he's sipping on, but it's all
I'm
good.
drinking Jack Daniel.
Everything sounds good.
I told you I was going to put
Bradford,
some Jack
can I
in there.
just say one more thing? I
Yes.
just want to say hats off to Felicia Rashad, who was
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Bill Cosby's wife on television for
Yeah.
years. Not once.
But why
Did
did
she
Howard let her
accuse
go?
him?
That didn't make no sense to me.
Not once did she accuse him of doing anything out of the ordinary. And like again,
And she's
I'm
an
not saying
attractive woman.
Yes, she
but
is.
she's very
Yeah.
attractive. Yes. So hats off to Felicia.
Yes.
And bad to Howard for letting her go because she spoke her mind on her friend, not anything else but her friend. They let her go.
Howard let her go?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Oh,
did.
man, I didn't read that. Okay.
Yes, they let her go.
Wow.
Very disappointing.
Very
Howard
disappointed.
University?
Yes, because she says she's glad
Right.
Bill is free and he was never guilty. That's just an opinion. I mean, you got people in Congress who say the big lie, Trump's still president. Nobody say nothing to that, but she says, hey, Bill is free, thank God. And I know he didn't do it. Now she ain't got a job.
Wow.
So
Well, Laura.
that's bad for black colleges. Go ahead, Vance.
No, I was gonna say because we're getting ready, get up and start my tea time here in a minute, y'all.
You gotta go take off today?
I just
Go ahead and go today, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.
Well, I want you to tell mom and dad hello for me, Vance. That's all I want you to do.
We'll do that,
Okay.
Terry. We'll do that, man. So, guys, this is great, man. I hate to let it go. Laura, you assembled a great set it off crew.
Oh, she did.
And then we brought in our kicker, Latasha, like once again. And Laura, you did your thing.
Absolutely.
And Terry, appreciate you, bro. You always out. And we didn't even get to outside the box with T-Rex.
Hey, don't really
So
let
we'll-
alone.
You was
we'll do
outside
that
the
until-
box
Kill me
anyway.
Tuesday.
We'll do it tomorrow night. We'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
tonight.
Oh, that's great. So
We'll
we
do
can say
tomorrow.
that, get a quick plug for In the Room Sports Talk tomorrow. And we'll come on about 9:30 Central Time. And we're going to talk sports at Milwaukee Bucks, who I picked from the beginning.
Good
Only
luck on
one
that
who got
one,
a
man.
team
Go,
fight.
go Milwaukee.
But
I may
Yeah.
come on just to see how the crew is.
Right.
I'm a comedian.
yeah, well, freaking Frat will be on tomorrow, so we'll talk to him. Man, we love him. We love him. So,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
we'll
I'm
be
just
there.
kidding.
No, we
Hey.
love him, man. We'll be ready to
I'm gonna come.
go
I'm
at
gonna
it.
come on
So,
there. I'm gonna come on there and what's his name? Tell Mark. So you want my spot flash? They told me to come on. They told me to come on the sports show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
I know
Yeah,
you can bring it, so do it, girl. Do it.
I know that.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Y'all
Well,
doing a
Laura,
great job.
I'm gonna give you that last word, and then after you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play a song, y'all, from one of my old clients, Mr. Danny Clay, who
Okay.
does the Luther Vandross tribute, and he has a new song, a stepper song, y'all. And Laura,
Well, I'm
I'm
just a
gonna give you the
woman
last word.
I'm a woman of few words, so I'm just gonna sit back and listen to Danny Clay as
Your
we
eyes
go
talk
out.
No,
all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Your eyes talk all the
I
time.
don't see how you can say that when your intro is about 5 minutes long with all that.
He had about 7 F words. They that big. I can't even pronounce it.
That's
Look
okay,
at
big sister.
y'all still hanging with us. Ingrid, who's our faithful come on every time we come on. Want to give a shout out to her, y'all. And like I say, you've been tuned in to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach. Y'all, it's been a great conversation. And once again, stay tuned because there's gonna be some more. I'm telling you, from TAAN TV. And Laura, we out of here.
We out of
And
here.
this Mr.
Good night,
Danny Clay.
ladies. Y'all
Good
know
night,
what to do,
everybody.
Vance. Good night, ladies. Y'all have a good night, Vance.
You too.
Y'all,
Good night,
y'all need
everybody.
to, y'all need to stay on and hear his music before y'all.
I
I'm
ain't going
waiting.
nowhere. I like the song.
No, but you guys can, as you want to, you can fade on out as you want to.
Okay, it's 3:00 in Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying, Juanita. We thank you so much. We thank you, Juanita.
Thank you, Miss Turner. You have a good
God
night.
bless.
And we'll see you. All right.
On the 9 to 5. And I can't wait, no, I can't wait until the weekend comes.
Does he sound like Luther to you, lady? Listen to him, lady.
All right, Terry.
Here he does a little
Just the
bit.
way that I say it. First we'll do the wine and
He
dine.
sounds like
Anybody
Big Lou.
two-step in the panel?
I know that she's so
I said he sounds like Big Lou.
Yeah.
He sound like you.
is in her eyes. And I'll do anything just to make her happy. Here in this moment, gonna make her realize that this is
He's gonna do a remix.
where love has come
He
alive.
sang live for us when he was on the show last time. That was outstanding.
The best days of our lives.
We got a lot of talent that's gonna show up on TAAN TV. You know my boy Dirty and his crew. And we're gonna get Latasha to come in and perform for us. So all that's in the works, y'all. Stay tuned.
We need to get Miss Tiffany Jones Smith in there so she can tell us how to make sure our kidneys are good too.
Yeah, she's got a podcast in the works to come on TAAN
Okay,
TV.
awesome. Congratulations.
Keep my kidneys good, you know.
Yeah.
I am getting old.
Give that information.
Not yes to you getting old, but yes to kidneys.
What's you sipping on, Spicee?
My
We're not
granddaughter
playing
Spicee,
Spicee
what
tells
you
me
sipping on?
I understand.
Huh?
What you
My
sipping on,
granddaughter
Spicee?
tells me. All right,
Uh,
everybody, I'm not going
Fiji
to
water.
bed, but I'm gonna let y'all ladies go to bed. Vance, love you.
Fiji, huh?
yes, Fiji
night.
water.
All right, Terry.
I'm gonna make some
All
pasta
right.
Be good, baby.
in a
All right,
minute.
good night, everybody.
Thanks
All
for
right.
hanging out.
Thanks for having
Thanks for hanging, y'all.
me. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Latasha.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, guys.
All right. All right, y'all.
Maybelline.
Are we still live?